Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on Happy RC Flyer on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Most of my viewers are not subscribed, and that helps grow the channel, to help grow the hobby. This is where you get that unsponsored, unbiased perspective on all things RC. So I'm just here as a hobbyist. I don't make money doing this. I don't make money on the videos. I don't make money on the RC stuff, whether it's boats or aircrafts or cars. Nobody gives me free stuff to tell you how nice it is or to try to get you to buy it. The links in the description are just to help you find the items. There's no special discount or promo code. I don't get any commission off of that. So I'm not here to try to sell you on anything. I'm just here to try to share in the fun of RC. So I make just as much money whether you buy one of these or not. So it doesn't matter to me. Just enjoy watching the videos, or if it's something that you like and you want to purchase one yourself, you can. Today we have an RC boat here. This is maybe a rival to the Horizon Hobby Harbor Tug, the 30-inch tugboat. And this one is by HengLong, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's probably a Chinese knockoff, and I've been pretty impressed with it, to say the least. So there are some pros, some cons about it. You want to stick around for the whole video, but make sure you hit that subscribe button at the end of the video. If you like the content, get the thumbs up in there and drop a comment or a question you might have, or maybe an idea for modification. We're going to do some upgrades to this, some customization and things like that. I think it'll make it look pretty cool and make it a little more functional in some of the areas that you'll find out here shortly. And then share the video with a friend if you know somebody that you think might enjoy the video. So without further ado, here we are. Come and check out some of the scale details of this thing. This is really cool. In comparison to the Horizon or the ProBoat Horizon Harbor Tug, this has a lot more scale details and a lot more scale features. We have all kinds of stuff. We have some clear windows, which the Horizon Tug had clear windows, but they're tinted, so dark that you can't see in. So this will be really nice for in the evening. You might install some lights, so you might want to make sure you subscribe to see future videos of this watercraft. Inside, you'll see that there is a little bit of an instrument panel or gauges. I don't think there's any actual gauges, so we might have to work on that. But there is actually a steering wheel inside, and I think that is pretty cool. We've got a set of steps up the front. We actually have rope and a working winch. I mean, the ProBoat didn't even have that. You couldn't even turn the winch on the ProBoat, and this one actually rotates. You can spin it with your fingers. It did come with the rope, so that was pretty cool. On the back we have another working winch, just a hand winch, of course, just a freewheeler, but it also came with rope. We'll probably add some more rope to that. Comes with this nifty little crane and a little safety boat, or a little life vessel, and that's pretty cool. We'll be doing some work on that, but I think that's kind of a neat feature. This thing, you can swing it around by hand, of course, and you can lift it up and down, and then run this if you want to raise and lower the hook. So we'll probably work on that, get it looking a little more scale. There's some tanks down in there. Again, you have these railings. These are not rubber like on the ProBoat, but they're actually painted to look better and look more scale. We have the tower, the mast. These are not working spotlights, but they might be in the future, so you might want to stay tuned for that. But they do maneuver around. You can, I guess you can't, well, yeah, I guess you can't turn them, but you can swing them up and down. Little flag. You'll see that it comes with a really long tube, or I call it a straw, to mount your flag up really high, but I put mine down a little lower. I think it looks a little more scale. We have this, which can rotate by hand. And this is the sprayer. And this boat, unlike the ProBoat Horizon Harbor 30-inch tugboat, this boat actually comes with a water pump built in. So when you purchase it, and I'll put a link in the description. I purchased this one from Motion RC. I think it's under 200 bucks, like 170 or something like that. And once in a while they'll run them on sale, but you can purchase this from motionrc.com. You can purchase this from BangGood, I think from Amazon. And it really is a nice platform with a lot of scale details. This rotates manually by hand, but of course it just stays stationary. But this pump, I've been impressed with that already, and you'll find that out pretty soon. So we have all these little scale tires along the edge of the boat, or along the edge of the railing. You do have to put those on. They come with these little simulated rubber chains, and they're just sort of like a zip tie the way they connect. You just kind of put it through the loop and pull it tight how you want it. You can see what they look like on the other side. They're not an actual tire, but they got the sidewalls cut out, and that makes it nicer so it doesn't flop around as much. so it tends to kind of lay flat against the edge of the boat. We have a real rubber bumper on the front of the bow there. Here's the back of the boat. Here's how the rudder system works. It's also a tube rudder around like a cylinder rudder around the propeller, just like the ProBoat is. This is also equipped with a brush motor, just like the ProBoat. So we'll look at some of that here in just a few moments. It does come with a little stand, which is kind of cool. The stand is made out of plastic. So let me see if I can show that to you. There it is. It pops apart real easy, and that's kind of nice. I do like this stand better than the ProBoat tugboat stand, because it's easy when you're carrying the boat. You can just put the stand up under there and carry it, and then when you go to set it down, you can set it down. Whereas the ProBoat stand, I think, has a piece of plywood that sticks down, and it's really kind of awkward to try to carry the boat with one hand already on the stand. So probably not a deal breaker, but I do like that as opposed to the ProBoat. The only thing I don't like about this stand is if you go to set it down and where we're going to be, like rocky area, it tips over pretty easily because of the way that it's shaped, the base of it. But usually don't buy a boat for the stand, but it is really cool that they include one for that price, and the fact that it comes with a water cannon already hooked up, the water pump and stuff. So when you get this boat out of the box, you have to attach the tires to the side. I think you have to attach this mast tower and plug in your water cannon hose and put your little flag on top. But I think everything else is pretty much how you're going to see it out of the box. It comes with this little cheapy remote controller, which honestly is not much different than the ProBoat one. You kind of heard me complaining about the one that came with the ProBoat. You know, for the difference in price, I think the ProBoat is like $450, $449, plus another $57 for that motor to run the water cannon. And considering that this is under 200, you know, it's like 170, 169, somewhere around in there, depending on where the price is when it's on sale. And it already comes with a water cannon. I'm pretty impressed with it. So the ProBoat tugboat comes pre-ballast, so meaning it already has weight in the hull, so you don't have to weight it and balance it out. This does not come pre-ballast, but you'll find out here in a few moments when we put it in the water that it has some holes in the bottom of the boat, and that's how the water jet works, or the water cannon. And in those slots right there, it allows water to go inside, and it has a compartment inside, which we'll look at here, and you'll see that the water compartment is the ballast for it. So still leaves a little bit to be desired, which we're going to address that in the future. It does come with a lithium ion or Li-ion pack. This runs on a 2-cell, I believe, yeah, 1800 milliamp. So could use a bigger battery, but still has good run time, which we'll find out here shortly. But that's how the battery sits in. If you're not sure how it goes when you get yours, it just sits straight in, and that's just kind of how it sits in there. So you can see the little ballast tank down in there, and we'll show you how that works in just a moment. Don't know if I'm a giant fan of that, but it is what it is, and like I said, for the price, it's hard to beat. I do like a lot of the scale features and scale details of this tugboat versus the ProBoat. Things like making an actual winch that you can manipulate with your hands, even though it's manual, is really an added touch. And coming with rope, I mean, how expensive is rope? You know, Horizon could include some cheap rope from the dollar store and really add a scale touch. But anyway, I don't know if the windows on the bottom level, I think the bottom deck windows are painted over, so that's kind of disappointing. It would be kind of neat to have clear windows there, even if they were just tinted windows. But anyway, pretty impressed. The glossy paint job and the glossy plastic molded features and parts like the railing and stuff keep it from looking as realistic as it could. But again, we have some plans and ideas for those types of things to help improve it. So if you want to see what we're going to be doing to this, you want to make sure you're subscribed. Check out some future upgrade videos on this. But anyway, a lot of cool features, so very cool. Without any further ado, let's put it in the water. It does have a couple scale LED nav lights, one on each side, red and green, of course. Those are the only lights on the boat that I'm familiar with. Unfortunately, these little spotlights don't have any LEDs in them. That would be really cool. But it does come with a water cannon. So when you set this in the water, you will find out, and we're at a little creek here, a little stream. Try to find a good spot here. Needs to be kind of deep enough to put it in. But you'll find out that as soon as you set it in the water, it'll try to set crooked a little bit, or float a little crooked or angled. Part of that is because that ballast tank has to fill up with water first before it's going to balance out a little bit. And I feel like it still needs some ballast, so we probably won't put much lead in it today. That'll be in a future video. But when you set it in the water, you'll notice that the lights come on, and it has a little sensor down inside. So once it starts taking on water, then that kicks on and then allows you to function the steering and the throttle and the water cannon. So we're going to let it sit here and take on some water. You can see it's starting to already sit straighter. But when you take it to put it in the water for the first time, and the ballast tank is empty, don't just set it in the water, because it probably will lay over. So sitting a little lower, we might need to find a better spot to get it in the water a little deeper. Let's see what we can do here. There we go. I think we can do that. Still running aground. There it is. Got out there in the current pretty well. You see how it leans around a little bit? It just needs a little more ballast than what it comes with. A little more weight. If you notice that the red line, the paint line on the boat, which is supposed to be the water line, it's floating just a little high. This boat has a brush motor, unfortunately, but the ProBoat tugboat comes with a brush motor as well. And because of that, you don't have as good a proportioning and as much power as what you normally would if it was brushless. So it's probably another thing we'll probably look at upgrading in the future. But it basically just has 2 speeds. Now the ProBoat, I think, is pretty consistent throttle, but this has 2 speeds, so that's slow. As you pull the trigger just a little bit, it kicks on slow. And then, let's see, I feel like if I go forward now, it's going to run aground. So let me try to turn it around. I'll go downstream a little bit. There's about as slow as it'll go. And you see when you turn, it really leans. And then here's as fast as it'll go. There's full throttle. And you really don't want to slam the sticks too much when you're going full throttle. We're going to just peck the throttle just a little bit at a time. It just needs a little more ballast. I don't like how it leans. So there's full throttle. So it's got pretty good speed. I'll go this way to stay out of the rocks. But like I said, not very much along the lines of proportional steering or proportional throttle. Much to be desired, but a really good platform, really scale. I wasn't overly impressed with the speed and performance of the ProBoat Horizon Tug. So price point for price point, you know, if you're going to be upgrading the motor and the ESC, you're going to be changing out your transmitter system, which unfortunately I think all of these boats are going to have a 2-in-1 speed control and receiver box, which I'm never a fan of that. So as soon as you want to upgrade the receiver, or as soon as you want to upgrade the speed control, you're forced into purchasing a new transmitter system, which for me is not a big deal because I have some other stuff sitting around. But for a person who's just getting this as their first boat, and then you want to upgrade some things, you're going to have to upgrade your radio system along with your power system. So there's the slow speed. We're going to let off the throttle. It's fun to let it coast. There's reverse. Doesn't really give a lot of steering. You have steering for maybe the first foot. You can maneuver it a little bit, but once you get into it, once it starts getting momentum, you don't have any steering, which is just how the ProBoat was. Let's run it downstream. There's full throttle. You don't have any trim tabs for adjusting anything on your controller, on your transmitter. There probably are if you put it in the, if you open up the boat, to probably just adjust the servo. But you don't have really proportional steering, so you either straight ahead or left or right, and it's sort of like with your throttle, you're forward or backward, and as soon as you touch the controller, that's as slow as it'll go, which is still a pretty good speed. And then here's full throttle, which is a little faster. And it does look very scale, very cool. We have a little bit of current out there, which is fun. You do have to be careful when you're driving someplace that has a little current, especially if you're doing like we are, where you're venturing out downstream. It's one thing to venture down or venture upstream, so if your battery goes low or something, it comes back to you, but if you're doing like this, we'd have to go downstream to catch it, which we could if we needed to. But pretty fun. There's turning it with slow speed, so you can see how it leans a little bit. It doesn't lean as bad to the left on right turns as it does on left turns leaning to the right. Look how it really lays over. But still, very scale looking, especially at that distance. For the price point, would definitely recommend it if you're wanting to get into boats, wanting to try something, and you're not really ready to spend the kind of money that the ProBoat is. There's full throttle, just plowing upstream. We don't want to go too far upstream because it starts getting shallow. Let's see how far upstream we can go. Kind of hard to tell if you're running aground or not. Would be curious to see how shallow you can actually go before it runs aground. Without being properly ballast, you really got to watch if you're going through some current like this, which is still not very much, but for this boat it is. If you're not balanced properly and it tends to lean, you get turned sideways in this kind of current. You could lay it over and start taking on water. Just let it float downstream. That was pretty impressive. I almost feel like I could go further, which I thought it would need more water to float. But then again, if you put some good ballast in it, which I've got a few rocks that I might put in there, help it balance out a little bit better, but you don't want it sitting real low if you're going to do some shallow water ventures. Just not real accustomed to how far it leans when you do those left turns, but it is something that's improvable. Looks really good. I think it looks really good. There's a few ideas I have to make it look cooler, a little more realistic, but there we hit a little rock. Cruises right along, makes a nice little wave. Okay, I almost forgot one of the coolest features of this, and it is the water cannon. So those of you that watch the ProBoat Horizon Harbor 30-inch tugboat video know that I was excited with the water cannon.
That looks more
and
like a little squirt gun, but
the way it was described,
maybe
as a feature, added feature,
they come up with.
I expected it to really shoot out, but
really pump out
I felt
water.
the ProBoat shot more like a little Dollar Tree squirt gun, something from the dollar store or a little thrift store or something. This one here I'm more impressed with, and you'll see here pretty soon. Let me get it downstream, maybe so you can see it.
Okay, ready? Here goes. Look at that. I don't know if you'll be able to even see exactly how high it's going, but it's probably, I don't know, it might be shooting like 10 or 15 feet. versus the ProBoat just shot like a few feet in front of it. Is it showing up on the camera at all? Okay, cool. I mean, again, it's not like you know, big solid stream cannon. It shoots in little spurts, but still it's pretty impressive. And then of course you can adjust that manually. It'd be neat to have a receiver or have a servo hooked up to that. Let's bring it over here and lower it manually so it shoots a little more straight. Play around with it, you know. The cameraman. Look at that, it just shoots out, it's blasting. Let's see. It's shooting on the rock, we can't really see where it's shooting at. Might be able to put out a little fire with this. There, you might be able to see a little bit better now. Kind of in line with the camera. You can see it shoots in little spurts. But hey, that's a lot more impressive than the $450 boat that you have to pay another $60 to get the the water cannon. This one is just $170 and it comes with it. Oh, there you can see the stream of the water, how far it's shooting out. Very cool. Turn it on and turn it off. But yeah, really cool. Again, it's one of those RCs that leaves a lot for improvement. But that's like anything in the scale world. There are not a lot of options, especially in the budget range like this. I mean, $170 still seems kind of expensive for what it is, but when you compare it with some of what else is on the market, like the ProBoat, this is a lot better value for your money. So I'm impressed as far as that goes. But is it the most maneuverable boat? No. Is it the most scale platform for the money with the water cannon and everything? Yeah, I definitely think so. So I'm pretty impressed with it. This is smaller. I think it's, I'll put the dimensions on the screen, but I believe it's like 25 inches. So it's a little shorter than the 30 inch. But for the price, for the water cannon already coming with it, pretty impressed. There it is. Anyway, there it is. The HengLong workboat, tugboat. Definitely something you should check into if you're into scale boats. And especially if you're wanting something that you're just going to run once in a great while, maybe in your pool, maybe in your pond, in your backyard, take it to a park once in a while. But you're mostly wanting something that's just going to look really scale and just be a mantelpiece. This definitely would qualify for that. So pretty impressed with it. But like I said, if you want to see some of the modifications and upgrades we have in store for this and plan, then you want to make sure you're subscribed and also turn on the notification bell if you want to get a notification on future uploads. So pick this up and empty out that ballast tank. So it's going to stream water for a little bit. That is something where you're not going to want to take it right away and put it inside your vehicle. Or put it up under your arm right away. And here's the boat stand, of course. I forgot to to bring a cell checker with me. It would be kind of nice to know what the battery level is and what kind of runtime you can get with this on the stock battery. If I do have some modifications coming, I know I mentioned that and keep mentioning that, but probably put a bigger battery in it too. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, like I said, if you haven't subscribed already, I hope you consider subscribing. That helps grow the channel and to help grow the hobby. And drop a comment or a question or an idea for modification. I don't have all the answers, and I like to interact with you guys and hear what some of your ideas are, some of your questions you might have about this. I'll try to keep a better eye on the comment section. Hit the thumbs up if you like the video, and share it with a friend you think might enjoy it. And we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.